Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I am here with so this is different. I was trying to do a live, but for some reason YouTube is not letting me do it on my current streaming setup, so I'll have to figure out a way to do lives. So what I wanted to come on to talk to you all about today was basically, so the reading earlier this week was like, it's just been sitting on me because it was a little bit different than what I've been used to receiving. And the way that the messages were coming in were really different. And I was just like, what is going on? As I was reading it, and I have slowly started to pick up on the idea that when I'm doing these readings, over time, sometimes it comes to light that I'm connecting with the astrological or planetary movements that are happening when I'm working with the cards. And sometimes sometimes there's I can see a clear story, but other times I'm feeling like there's something different going on, and there's not so much a clear story as there is some sort of a theme of what is going to be happening. And of course, as you all are human and I am human, we all know that those things can that those things can change, not just day to day, but hour by hour. And of course, again, it's whether or not you, as a person, as a human, choose to participate in that flow. Like, choose to add your energy, choose to tap into it, choose to, pick up on these things that are available to be picked up on, like these energies and things like that. So, and I say that, I say that as someone who understands it and acknowledges that there is not just one right way of believing or thinking about, certain ideas and certain things. If we live in this world, we understand that life and things as they exist in not just layers, but kind of like overlap each other. So things that are almost diametrically opposed can also exist at the same time in the same space. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So while I also believe in our connection to the earth and to the universe, I also believe in data. I also believe in numbers and metrics and things like that, because those two things can exist at the same time. And I say that because I believe one of my previous readings was talking about, and I believe it was the reading either earlier this week or last week, where I talked about there seemed to be some sort of balance between masculine and feminine energies coming into play. And of course, again, I'm talking about masculine and feminine energies. So when we embrace that two different things can exist at the same time, that's also the idea that not only can spirituality and a connection to the universe exist, which I kind of see that as the feminine, like the intuition and emotions and things like that, but also tangible things like, how many coconuts do I have in this hand, and and having a number assignment to those, to that amount of coconuts, that just as an example, those two things can exist at the same time. And the fact that there are so many things that exist at the same time, I mean, that just probably, to me, that's just like, wow, how amazing that we wake up in this world every day. And not only, if we look outside, we see not only the trees coming up from the ground or the mountains coming up from, the ground, but we see the clouds overhead. I mean, those are two separate things that exist at the same time, very clearly seen in front of you. And it's just, again, just an example. But there's just a fullness in that, and encompassing, an all-encompassing of that energy. So one of the other things too that I wanted to talk about was the Fool card came up on the like the bottom of the deck was the Fool card. And I, in doing like more, as the energy of the week started coming in more and more and more, I started understanding, okay, well, Uranus is going retrograde. And Uranus is the card that is associated, Uranus is the planet that is associated with the Fool card in tarot. And so when we look at that, Uranus is a planet of, I want to say it kind of mixes things up, right? It mixes up, it puts things in a mix. And here, it says it's basically putting you in the energy of the Fool. The way that we are moving forward in our lives from this point on, as we move through like the rest of the year, I've been picking up on this sense of, and even in talking with friends, I've been getting this sense of I am in full possession of myself, my wants, the things that I want to do and move forward. And I am being fully accountable to myself, right? But what I'm also doing, because I understand that two different things can exist at the same time, that allows me to make not only accountability for myself, but also create boundaries that are not only healthy for me, but allow, not even, and I hate to use the word allow, but also allow for, I think that might be a better phrasing, also allow for other people to be in their space as they are without it, without them having to apologize for who they are while in a space with me, right? No one has to do that. No one has to apologize for being who they are, believing what they believe, as long as I am taking accountability for where my life is going and making healthy boundaries for myself. And that is something that I fully encourage to all my clients, anyone that I happen to see. And it's really this opportunity for almost rebellious growth that is coming forward. And I say rebellious growth, but really all it is, if you've already experienced this, or if you're not as amazed by, aha moments as I am, and I love aha moments, it's just one of those things where we start to, oh yes, I am recording. We start to, really take in the wholeness of who we are and accepting who we are and moving forward very confidently and understanding, this is who I am. This is the space where I authentically need to be. And, authenticity, I was watching one of my favorite YouTube astrologers, and she talked about authenticity changes from day to day. Our source of, just as our source of motivation changes, our source of authenticity changes and shifts as we learn. So as we're putting ourselves in these spaces where we're learning from other people, but also understanding, ourselves and accepting ourselves and creating healthy boundaries, we are understanding how our authenticity changes, and we have to be accountable to following that authenticity as it shifts and changes, and it ebbs and flows. So that's what I wanted to say about the earlier week's reading. And I wanted to get into talking a little bit about the full moon in Aquarius that is coming up. So if you've been paying attention, you don't have to, but it's really cool to flow along with, for me, it's been a journey working with the moon and working with like the feminine energy, and now coming into balance with, how that cycle now exists in the, in the cycle of the earth and the moon. It's like a slow progression, but again, I'm moving on. The full moon in Aquarius is coming up on August 22nd. If you've been paying attention, this is the second full moon in Aquarius. The last one was on July 23rd, I believe. So let's take a look at Aquarius, and if the spirit is with me and willing, I will do a card reading. If not, I will just do an oracle card reading, and I will talk to that in regards to the full moon in Aquarius. So I've got out my helper star card. And actually, as I'm moving through this change that I've been feeling, as I mentioned, when I first started recording, my readings are changing, and I'm trying to change with those readings, and honor what I'm starting to feel, because a lot of times what is happening with my intuition and what I'm feeling from the energies is not coming from the cards at all. And sometimes the cards are starting to, it's not that they're getting in the way, but it's starting to confuse a little bit, starting to confuse the messages for me. And I want to make sure that I'm honoring however way, the message comes through. Because for me, yes, it is cartomancy, reading cards, reading tarot. And lately I've started to understand that it definitely comes through dreams. So how do you communicate divination through dreams on YouTube, on, on Instagram, things like that? And I'm trying to figure out how to bring that forward and make it into a clear story of what that means for the collective energy. Okay? All right, so here we go. The sign of Aquarius is associated with the star card in tarot, the number 17. The star card is the card of hope. Here, this is the definition that I got from Jessica Dory's class, but an announcement just came out from her. She is revamping, with the release of her new book, some of her meanings that she's attached to the cards. But I think this is a really good start still. The star card is values as the internal navigation device that guide us through difficult times. And that's it's weird that I've been sensing this, because when we think about the acceptance of two things at the same time, I mean, you would think those things would come and clash together, right? And I think what we're going through is some of us are understanding that there's no need to clash anything. Nothing needs to clash, right? It is essentially, we can choose to go into the direction we want to go in without, and really just completely let the other things go. And that is inherently in the visioning of, I'm sitting here looking for my cards. I think I must have put them back on my altar. That is essentially what the star card is in its visual. It's It's a lady kneeling next to a creek with 2 jars of some sort of water. She's pouring 1 jar of water into a huge lake, and she's pouring the other jar of water off to the side onto land. And it's just indicative of you're pouring your energy into that which you want to increase. And it's funny because I took my water jug out here, that I use to water my plants, and I wanted to highlight, like, this is this is an example of Aquarius. The sign of Aquarius is represented by the water bearer. And so when you look at the card, actually, I want to find that card because I want you all to see it. Here it is. Okay, so let's find, I'm going to pick it out of the Rider-Waite deck because that's the classic version of this card. Let's see. Star card. Where are you, my friend? Yep. Sorry. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, the Star card. Awesome. So, here is the Star card. And again, as you can see, there's a woman kneeling next to a body of water with 2 jugs in each hand, and she's pouring 1 into the water and 1 off to the side. And I feel like that to me is the card of hope, because when we pour water or energy or emotion, water is, there's this correlation that goes around that I just find very beautiful when we think about, our bodies are made up mostly of water. And when we put into, like, the idea being that, if we pour ourselves, right, if we consider ourselves, mostly water, if we pour the majority of ourselves into the thing that we want most, into the relationships that we want most, into the things that we believe in most, into those things, then those things grow. Those things grow for us. We are in the energy of the thing that we move toward. Okay, so next I want to get out my Moonology card. How many minutes am I at? Okay. And I want to see what Yasmin Boland says about the full moon in Aquarius. I know we've looked at this already back in July. Oh, here, it popped right up. Let's see. All right, I'll put that to the side. And let's take a look. The full moon in Aquarius card says, show the world the real you. So I would advise thinking back to July 23rd when we had the last full moon in Aquarius. Think about something for you that might have come up around that time, however small, and or think about maybe the thing that you said, I think I'm going to move in this direction, and see what comes up for you from the, and this is why I also really try to, remind people that watch or that I talk to, please journal. It helps you keep track of, what you were thinking at that place of time, maybe what you dreamt, definitely a dream journal, or even things that might have come up for you in your body. in your life, in your psyche, you know? Okay, so show the world the real you, full moon in Aquarius. Let's read. Okay. This card brings the message from the cosmos that you need to detach a little from whatever situation you're asking about. Someone might be keeping you at arm's length now, but it's no bad thing. It's important for you to allow life to unfold and progress, even if change seems like a frightening prospect. If you've been holding yourself back from showing the world the real you, this card reminds you that your unique characteristics are what make you special. In a relationship, are you being too aloof or detached? Go ahead and be yourself in whatever is coming up for you. To attune to the moon, be aware of your feelings, but also be prepared to move on. Additional meanings for this card, right? Don't lose the beauty and romance of life. You are too much in your head, get into your heart. A friend needs you, be there for them. A situation is going to take a very unexpected turn. The teaching. Every full moon is a time to release and let go, but the addition of Aquarian energy to the mix triples that message. Aquarius is the opposite of clingy, and pulling this card at any time suggests either you need to let go or someone is thinking they are the ones who need to let go, perhaps of you. What needs to go? What is the right thing to do? Whatever happens next could be highly unconventional or unexpected. And you know, that's that's something that is actually coming up for me. I won't go into detail, but it's definitely, you know, I really understanding now, like something that was like an inkling of things that were happening then are now coming to fruition now coming to need attention now. Oh, wow. So let's see. I want to send a little bit of love out into the universe. I have not done a Roomy card reading. The Roomy Oracle, an invitation into the heart of the divine. So let's go out into space with Aquarius. And that's what I'm going to do today. Is I'm just going to read a Roomy card, and I'm going to wish you well for the rest of your week and for your full moon in Aquarius. Now, also note that I've lit candles back here. I've lit the throat chakra candle, the Vishuddha chakra, and the third eye chakra candle, the Ajna chakra. The throat chakra and this is for expression and intuition. So those are two things that they're both attributed to Aquarius. And Aquarius is also, Aquarius is also connected to like communication systems, anything like that's on a grid. So electric systems, railroads, that kind of like a transportation, anything that has like a network on it, which is really important to say for Sigma. I don't know why I felt that. But yeah, it's very important to be connected. It's interesting that, you know, it's almost as if your throat is connected. Oh, hey, Feather. Hey. Your throat is connected to your third eye. So it's almost like you're channeling with this full moon in Aquarius. You're channeling your intuition and you're immediately expressing. And a lot of times there's this idea that what you speak into life comes to being. So really, really, really be connected with your intuition, with the universe, with the wholeness, your whole sense of self, right? In order to make sure that you are bringing into fullness the real you. The real you. Okay? So I'm going to call on the spirits to come into this little oracle reading here with some guidance for you all from the Roomy Oracle deck. Thank you, Spirit. I know whatever card you bring me is the card that needs to be heard by everyone that is watching or listening to this video. Thank you. Can you give me some guidance for the full moon? And thank you so much. Okay. A new gown. Wow. How amazing is that? So I'm going to put this card here, put the star card down. A new gown, number 18. And how, look at that. So close to this, the number 17 card. Wow. Okay. All right. I'm trying to see what the time is. We're about 25 minutes. All right, let's see what number 18 has for us. And I'm just going to say in advance that sometimes these readings are a bit long, so please bear with me. Okay. A new gown. Weary and consumed by longing, I was caressed by my beloved last night. My wounded soul was set free when I tasted the sweetness of love. My spirit was lifted at once. I surrendered my life while overflowing with joy, and my vision was filled with light. Love said, "Don't feel so hopeless, my weary and gloomy one, for my generosity is beyond forgetting those devoted to me. See how boundless divine justice can be. Behold my immeasurable kindness." Love embraced my spirit, and all my doubts vanished at once. A new and glorious robe of honor was placed on my shoulders. Love offered me the power of new vision and the transforming touch of divine generosity, and placed the chalice of eternal wine in my hand. Roomy. I have the perfect gift for you. It is a gown of new colors, of colors perfectly suited to you and no other. The colors of this gown will make your eyes sparkle and gleam as though they were more beautiful than the most precious of gems. The colors of this new gown will make your skin seem luminous, as if lit from within. For of course it is, beautiful angel. Your complexion is radiant with the light of life. Your hair will shine with luster, and your entire being will be complemented by this gown, as it enhances your beauty in all ways. So hold on no longer to that shabby, tattered cloak so unworthy of you. Cast it off. Let me grace your shoulders now with this royal robe instead, that you may shine beautifully as it befits a royal child of divine parentage. Ah, beloved, if you could only see the incredible gift, the symbolic robe being offered to you now. Your fears would quake and tremble, disappearing more quickly than you could imagine. Your heart would take wings and become so light your entire being would lift clean off the ground and soar like an angel bird amongst the playground of the Divine Mother's skies. Yet, like a young one, so much younger than your years and wisdom warrant, you may hold on to your tattered robes as though they were a security blanket. Though you know it is time to let go, you may take pause and have a moment of doubt. You may wonder if the new robes will descend swiftly enough, or that without what you have known to cling onto, you will be left stark naked, exposed, and vulnerable. These thoughts are not worthy of your status, but perhaps you are yet to realize you are of the most sublime royal lineage, that you are worthy of a cloak of galaxies, a crown of stars, a body of sacred earth, and a voice of stirring music. You may be craning your neck to see who it is that can bestow such permission upon you to receive a gift of dignity, such dignity. In whom is such authority vested, that you may no longer be as the beggar, asking for scraps and contenting yourself with stale crumbs. You may simply decide to shed that, stand up to walk with your head held erect and with a regal grace, and assume your place at the table of divine feasting. Remember that your royal birth certificate is stamped in your heart. There is no authority required, no permission to be granted. You are what you are already, and always have been thus. All that is required from you is to realize it. This oracle comes to you with sacred portent. You are fast approaching a moment of great leap. Remember when I talked about the Fool card? an evolutionary shift on your spiritual path. Your sense of yourself and your divine identity is about to be revealed and realized in a way more potent than ever before. This is wonderful. It is a divine happening. You must allow it. Do not confuse humility with humiliation. Do not humble yourself excessively. You do not have to battle with false pride either. Simply honor yourself as a living being, worthy of life, worthy of this royal path of divine realization. What a gift it is to cast aside belief in inferiority or superiority, unhelpful as those notions are for you now. What a gift instead to embrace your own path, irrespective of what any other may think, whatever they hold it in glory or derision, whether they hold it in glory or derision. Who cares? Not you, nor I. Your royal heritage has been revealed. And in seeing the divinity within yourself, you become blessed to see it in all beings returning to the realization of royalty within. Crazed searching outside of the heart will come to an end. A simple golden path will be found, as though a river of molten gold flows from your heart back to the oceanic heart of the great beloved, where, united again, you finally ascend your throne and claim your divinity once and for always. You know what? I'm going to read that again and show you this star card. A simple golden path will be found, as though a river of molten gold flows from your heart, from your hand to your heart, right? From your heart to your hand, back to the oceanic heart of the great beloved, where, united again, you finally ascend your throne and claim your divinity once and for always. This oracle comes with sacred guidance for you. You are stepping into empowerment in a new way, and it is to be honored. Do not allow yourself to be dragged into dramas or power games. You are worth so much more than that. You are tapping into your inner dignity, and others may not know how to respond. Some will respond with love and acknowledgement, others with fear and judgment, calling you too big for your boots or high and mighty. Those are voices of fear, not truth. Be in your dignity and power and keep going. It is the divine that urges you thus, not the ego. Do not doubt the changes happening within you now. Embrace them. I think this is a perfect card for this full moon in Aquarius coming up on August 22nd. This card also has a sacred honoring ritual, so I will give you all a chance to get to a space where you can sit and listen to this portion of the reading. Okay, sacred honoring ritual for a new gown card. Place your hands very lightly on the top of your head. Say aloud, I cast aside lesser crowns. Open up your hands to the heavens and say aloud, I receive the royal gown descending through grace. Slowly and gently guide your hands down from over the top of your head alongside your body, as though drawing a royal robe over your head. Allow your hands to gently touch the floor as though the robe completely covers you. Sit comfortably and visualize or intend that the most beautiful gown of many colors surrounds you. You may or may not be aware of the colors. You may see layers of shimmering lights, stars, roses, or more. You may hear the gown singing like a choir of angels, or gurgling as though it is a fountain of liquid gold. Let it be as is for you, as subtle or powerful as it wishes to be. Whatever happens for you is perfect. When you are ready, simply open your eyes, place your hands in prayer position, and bow your head. You have finished your sacred honoring ritual. Wow. Well, friends, thank you for joining me on this midweek reading. Thank you for, honestly, thank you for showing up when these readings are released. And thank you for being you, being the real you, and honoring the real you. Because I think in that way, when you honor your real you, you allow others to be who they are. And it's just beautiful. All right. Namaste. Enjoy the rest of your week. And I wish you full moon and Aquarius blessings. Thank you.